Hello, everyone. Thank you so very much for your patience with me during this break. I have not posted a YouTube video in at least 3 weeks. It'll probably be 4 weeks by the time I actually edit and put this video up. And I really want to thank you all again so much for bearing with me during this period while I just figure out my life. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. During this time, I hit a huge milestone for me, which is 10,000 subscribers, but for some reason, I could not feel grateful or like I deserved or that was earned. I didn't feel that way about my subscriber count. I felt ungrateful and like I didn't earn it by being myself. I earned it through my content. So I want to have a conversation today about what I've been through this last month and explain to you what kind of went on so that hopefully you can get a picture of what's going on with me and where I'm hoping to take this channel moving forward. So I anticipate this will be pretty emotional. Am I wearing too much makeup to get emotional? Yes. Is it likely that I will cry? Yes. May you cry along with us? I don't know, maybe. Maybe if you're very empathetic, you might cry. Or if you've experienced something similar, you might cry. Otherwise, probably not. But I'm not wearing makeup because I wasn't intending on filming this particular video today, but I had started the script yesterday and decided I need to just go ahead and do this. So I'm going to talk about my experience and what is going on with me so that you guys can get a good picture of that and get a good understanding of what to expect moving forward. You know, good communication between me and you. It's been a while and we need to talk. So let's go ahead and talk. Like I said, I am going to primarily be reading from a script. This is because it is a dense topic and I want to make sure that I cover specific things. So I do have a script. I will be referring to it. It's right there. And that's what's going to help me get through this video today. So we ready? Actually, fun side fact, I do remember very distinctively writing a eulogy for my brother to read during his funeral, and I felt guilty for having a script. Like, it's way too easy to speak off a script. But I have come to realize over the years that scripts are what allow you to keep on topic when something emotional is happening and you want to make sure that you say things properly and that you don't misrepresent something. So I have written a script today because I want to make sure that it's that what I'm saying gets across in the way that I hope it gets across. Is a script a guarantee? No, but I'm hoping that it'll push us in the right direction. So let's go ahead and dive in. COVID has locked us all down, stuck us in rooms alone for a long time, and the idea of a normal life still feels quite far away. When everything started, it seemed like it might only last a couple of months, but now it's been over a year, and normal life feels like a little bit of an impossibility. However, yesterday I was able to go on my first date now that I'm vaccinated. What? And leave the house. Yes, I still wore a mask, but I felt comfortable being in a restaurant because I knew that I am as protected as I can be from this thing, and it felt really good to experience something that felt somewhat normal. We actually ended up going to the eye doctor to get our prescription updated, and I was told that I can have contacts, which is so exciting, but my prescription for my astigmatism in my right eye is a little strong, so they had to order in. So I'll get to try them out in probably about a week, so I might be getting contacts soon for the first time in my life. I'm pretty excited. We'll see how that goes. But after that, we were actually able to go out to dinner with his best friend and his wife, and we went to this really amazing Southeast Asian restaurant that opened during the pandemic. Like, this restaurant opened itself during the pandemic, and it was amazing. I took some pictures. I'm going to throw up pictures up here. It's so cute. I love it so much, and I really enjoyed the experience. We then went to their house afterwards and played Jackbox. 2 other people ended up coming over, and it was a proper get-together, you know? Yeah, we kept our distance. There was no hugging, so it didn't feel completely normal, but it's a step in the right direction, and by step, it feels like a freaking leap. You guys may know that friendship is a topic that I talk about a lot because it's something I struggle with a lot, and COVID has sort of not necessarily exaggerated it, but given me an opportunity to think about my situation a little bit differently. Obviously, I'm getting emotional, gonna get more emotional as we go on, but let's continue. I recently have been binge watching the crap out of Queer Eye, which I would love to make a whole video on, and I probably will, because Queer Eye is one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life. It is so wholesome, it is so heartwarming and inspiring to watch. In this episode of Queer Eye, this woman loved to hug and kiss everyone she met. She was everyone's mom. She took care of everyone. She loved everyone, and I was thinking, how hard that must be in the pandemic. Like, what is her experience like knowing she can't hug people that she has hugged her entire life? Like, having to social distance for a woman like that must be incredibly difficult. And I wonder, is that something she could even do? And I had all these thoughts and I realized I'm asking these because I wish I could hug people. I miss hugging people. I am projecting these questions onto her situation because I'm trying to deal with my own. I have been isolated a lot longer than COVID. Pretty much a very long time. I dropped out of college because I couldn't afford to go and had the most intense depressive state of my life for about 4 months. While I had no friends, no life, I was in a new city. I was in an area where public transit was not very good and everything was really, really far away. Like, to get to the closest fast food restaurant or closest shopping area, it was a mile walk. And I felt very isolated from then on. But since starting to work from home, those feelings of isolation have compounded. That's part of why I actually started my YouTube channel. You can see one of my earliest videos is, friendship, and I've written songs about what it means for me to find a best friend and all these things. Looking at my script. And I think it took that video, that episode where I asked those questions, how is she with the pandemic, to actually think about how I feel. And in writing this script, I made a realization. I have feared making friends with people as if friends were a virus. Something that would only hurt me in the end. Something that I needed to protect myself from, wear a mask, social distance, keep away from that. When I first heard of the virus in 2020, I watched a video of a man describe a lockdown in Wuhan and how intense and frightening it was and how the government was hiding it and how he wished more people were aware of how bad the situation was. This had to have been like the end of January 2020. But at that same time that video came up and I watched that video, everyone was talking about the death of a basketball player I'd only ever heard the name of in passing. I didn't know who the guy was. I knew that he played basketball and that was about it. And people were, again, I get it, like being upset about somebody dying, but I was like, how can we value the death of one person over the potential plague that could attack and destroy all of humanity? I was quite upset at this time. I didn't talk about it publicly because I didn't really want to be political, and my channel was primarily about MBTI. So I talked about it at work, and me and my coworker were really afraid, really worried about what was going to happen. And then obviously in March of 2020, the full lockdown started happening. That's when people really became aware of what was going on. And I'm not even gonna lie, for a second, I legitimately thought I predicted the future. You guys may or may not know that I'm working on a sci-fi series, and in the world of this sci-fi series, there's actually a plague that wipes out the vast majority of the world in 2050. And I thought, oh, maybe I just got the years wrong. Maybe I was off by about 30 years, but I got it right. And to be honest, if I looked in the right areas, if I looked in the right corner of the internet, I could even prove that the same theory I put in my book, which is that somebody started the virus, that could be reality. That could be what's really happening right now. But instead of letting myself give into those things, I focused on building a community. I made my Discord with the legitimate pitch of, hey, extroverts, come join my Discord so we can talk and get through the pandemic together. I was very excited to start the Discord and build that community. I'd been putting off starting a Discord. I thought, that's only something you do when you have a Patreon and you do it for your Patreon supporters, and that's how they can be close to you. And starting it before then is selling your own time and money short, so why would you do that? But with the pandemic, I had an excuse to start a Discord and build that community that I always wanted. So I did. And the first couple months, maybe even the first 3 to 4 months, was amazing. We were a close, tight-knit group. It was very small. We were making memes about bread. We were just having fun and in voice chat. It's hard as an adult to find a community. That's something I realized right when I dropped out of college, that it's hard to find friends when you're not in school. In school, it's very easy to meet people. You have a minimum of 100 to 200 people that you interact with in a daily scenario with school. But once you get out of school and you no longer have 8 classes with 20 different people in it, it's very hard to meet people. As an adult, there are not as many activities that you can go to where you can meet friends. At adult level, it's all about building relationships, finding that partner who you're going to settle down with and have kids. And it's not about friendship anymore. It's about marriage. So I created this Discord as a means of building a community, a way that we could find people with a common interest. MBTI. Easy peasy, pumpkin squeezy. You know what I'm saying? It was one of my main obsessions, and I figured, if I started this, I'll find other people who have other interests like me beyond just MBTI. And I did. I found people who read. I found people who are into philosophy. I found people who are willing to have those political discussions, etc. As the Discord community grew, those conversations became more and more superficial and less depth, more quantity. There was just more conversation, but those conversations never got to the same level. There'd be, instead of 5 or 6 people in voice chat, there'd be 15 people in voice chat. I've learned a lot about myself through this experience of running a Discord. Running this group with my extreme conflict avoidance often left me feeling guilty. Guilty that I wasn't living up to my own values and letting people do things that I didn't agree with, because my other value was freedom of speech. Freedom of speech, but also be a good person, can be conflicting, because being nice to people, but also saying what you want to say, doesn't always fit together. So I was constantly conflicted, and the kind of people that were saying rude things were hard for me to push back on, because I don't like people getting mad at me, because I have trauma. I have trauma that I would like to discuss, actually, related to my father being an incredibly angry person. And I've recognized this problem with anger, but it wasn't until the last year, especially with the Discord and with the pandemic and how everything's been happening, that I started to really, really understand where my fear of anger is coming from and why it's so extreme. I think it's extreme. I think it's beyond the average. And I tried to bring in more of my work self to Discord, because it stopped being this place to hang out, this community, and started being an extension of my business, which is the YouTube channel. And that's what I've been trying to turn my YouTube into, is a business. I've been trying to turn the videos into a business, the Discord into a business, and I was struggling. The worst part, for real, is the runny nose. Since moving to this house in particular, which I moved in October of last year, I have become the most introspective I have ever been in my life. I've been reading more and thinking a whole heck of a lot more. Trying to dissect my emotions, trying to dissect my thoughts, and exploring emotions and, trauma and those kinds of things. This time of introspection, and most specifically heightened emotions, caused me to become a lot more socially anxious. Suddenly, it was harder for me to engage on my Discord. It was harder for me to post videos. It was harder for me to chat with people on Instagram. It was just harder to engage because I was worried about it more. I was thinking about it more. I was questioning it more. You could relate this social anxiety to the heightened numbers, which is common with a lot of YouTubers. Like one of my favorite YouTubers, Daniel Green, who's been on the channel a couple times, he has a really large Discord, and he is somebody who has admitted to being socially anxious. It's something he talks about regularly on his channel. But my anxiety isn't like his. It's not an anxiety around the social stuff. It is a reflection of my emotional state and the things that I'm dealing with. And adding the stress, and the way that I reframed it in my mind was that this is work. This I need to take seriously. It's not about building friendships or communities. It's about having a community that people engage with. How do I get more people to engage with it while also simultaneously engaging with it less and less? In the last 6 or more months, I've become less and less and less and less active on my own Discord and on my own YouTube channel. I mean, before I took the break, I went from making 3 videos a week consistently, like a year ago, to making 1 video a week, maybe skipping weeks quite frequently, sometimes posting a second one that week, but there's no consistency with what I'm doing. I've really been struggling. I've had a heightened fear of saying the wrong thing. If I say it and somebody comes at me, or 10 years from now this resurfaces, or even if I just say it incorrectly, say something in a way that doesn't make sense or is misleading, or I haven't thought it through well enough, or, the general lack of freedom I felt with my topic choices, I dreaded making and editing every video. I didn't like it. I wasn't having fun. It was work, but not even rewarding work, because I'm just adding to the plethora of content out there. And is this something I really believe in? Is this something making the world better? And I've been seeing more and more about how it might actually be bad for society if a bunch of people use MBTI to define their life. How many people I've seen use MBTI to excuse their own behavior. And, I've been doing that too, using MBTI to excuse my own behavior. The worst thing I think I did during this period was trying to view it from a business mentality. I started measuring the success of my videos based on view count. I was mad and ungrateful that I was only getting 200 to 300 views on a video that I was more passionate about. And I could throw up a iconic couples video and just make 10K views. Just, there you go. Here's a bunch of views. You put no effort into this. You literally put together the list the day before. You had a little fun. There you go. 10,000 views. But a video I'm excited about, a video that I'm really, really happy with, 200 views. And in watching Queer Eye, I've been wondering, what would my makeover be like if they came to me? Because one of the things, you guys, about Queer Eye is they have 5 people. There's somebody who redesigns the living space. There is somebody who redesigns the wardrobe. There's someone who does the hair and makeup. There is somebody who does the food. And then there's somebody who does the life coaching, or like the emotional coaching. And I kept thinking, how would they remake my emotional world? What would they focus on with me? And how would they change my perspective on my YouTube channel? What would they encourage me to do if they were here, if they saw me in this state? If someone had recommended me to Queer Eye, what would my experience be? I don't want to have to wait for somebody to come into my life and change it. I want to own my own life. And what I believe they would tell me to do is focus on what I'm passionate about, push through this awkward stage where I won't get many views, and build up that community and focus on the things that matter to me. I am convinced that's what they would tell me. And that is why, from here on out, I'm not going to promise any kind of content. And if you followed me for the MBTI content, I am so grateful that you're here on my channel and that you've watched so many of my videos. And I'm sorry, but I can't promise MBTI content is going to continue to happen. Yeah, there might be some. During this actual 4 weeks off from my channel, I have brainstormed a ton of video ideas that I'm really excited about. Most of which have nothing to do with MBTI, but there are a couple that do have MBTI relations. I will not promise any kind of content anymore. I want to be able to change. I'm an ENFP. I go through hobbies like people go through t-shirts. I take them on, take them off, try them out, throw them away, come back to them. I cycle through my hobbies a lot, and MBTI is not my only hobby. It's not even my most primary hobby. I'd say my most primary hobby is writing and reading. Writing and reading are probably my primary hobbies right now. I want to be able to engage with that more, but I also want to share more of my experience so that hopefully others can learn from what I've been through, or feel inspired by what I've been through, or feel inspired that it's okay to talk about your emotions, even though it's awkward, even though it's uncomfortable. This channel now has over 10,000 subscribers. And I'm so grateful because when I started this channel and had 130 subscribers, I didn't think this was possible. It took me 6 months to get to 500 subscribers, let alone 10,000 subscribers. But I have not yet celebrated my subscriber, this milestone, because I have felt like I have not earned it. I feel like I gained these subscribers based on a false pretense that my channel will continue to be a specific kind of content. I switched from my original type of content, which was a mix of all kinds of things, probably why it took so long to grow my channel, to all MBTI because those would get me the views. I got this many subscribers off the pretense that I will make a bunch of MBTI content. And that was not fair to myself. That was not fair to me. Because I've been watching some videos recently on what makes a good YouTuber or whatever, like what people really like about YouTubers. And one of like the most common things that I noticed was they like to see the YouTuber develop. Just like, you're reading a story and, one of my favorite parts of the story is character development. Obviously, I'm obsessed with psychology. I love character development, and people naturally love character development. And by sticking to one topic, MBTI of all topics, this incredibly niched, nerdy, I have book friends come into my server and say that my channel is, or my server is too big brain for them, niched of a topic that I'm not even the most passionate about right now, or always. It's a fluctuative amount of excitement that I have for it. I let myself down by doing that, and I let the viewers down by doing that because I set a false pretense. I lied. I said this channel is going to be MBTI content. Subscribe for more YouTube MBTI content. And the worst thing about choosing MBTI as a topic of content is that there are 16 different personality types, right? So if you talk about one specific type, you're only going to have the audience that either cares about other types other than themselves, or the person who actually is the type. Meaning, of the huge subscriber base, only so many are going to watch it unless it's a video about all 16 types. So just a poor decision in general. Some people can make it work. All the more power to you. But it is holding me back from doing what I care about, because I get people telling me, oh, you need to stay in one topic, or, oh, you need to be consistent, or all this advice. The more people you have following you, the more people message you, the more people you talk to, the more advice you get. And I have gotten my fair share of advice on what I should do with this channel, and I've listened to a lot of it. I've tried out a lot of it, and I can tell you for a fact, talking about MBTI ain't it. And so that is why, with a heavy heart, I have to say that from now on, I will not promise a single type of content. I will make content that I'm inspired to make at the time, but I want to make more regular content because I do believe that for a successful YouTube channel, you need regular content. You need consistency or to make it big with viral videos. So consistency it is. That'll help me get back into the groove of things. But my topic is not going to be MBTI. And if that's not what you want, then I want to thank you so much for all the times that you've watched my channel and wish you all the best with the rest of your life. And for those of you who are willing to stick through it, talking about a lot of the topics I've mentioned so far, thank you. Yes, let's do it. Let's go for it. I am really excited about this new direction, even though it scares me, even though I'm nervous how many people are going to unsubscribe or what's going to happen. I have tried a lot to appeal to other people so that my channel can grow. But if I am proof of anything, it is proof that growth does not equal fulfillment. And I want to be fulfilled by my channel more than I want to grow. And I hope that you, the viewer, will also be fulfilled by the content that I make. I want to make the world a better place with my content, not just make content for the sake of content. Thank you all so much for being part of my journey and for all of the love and support that you have given to me. I have gotten more love and support in the last year than I have probably ever in my life, and I really appreciate you guys for that. And I hope that you enjoy my upcoming content, which I'm excited about. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope that you have a beautiful, amazing, fantastic day. Bye.